It's time to bring in the cavalry. You know, the army of nameless soldiers that usually end up as cannon fodder. Infamously seen with the likes of Red Shirts, Stormtroopers, Putty Patrol, and the Foot Clan, there is certainly no shortage of them. In Transformers, the Decepticon army has many nameless soldiers.
Prepare Autobots to die in darkness!
But there's one group that always seems to stand out, the Seekers.
Those jets sound like they're gonna land in our laps. That's because they are.
Consider supporting the channel on Patreon. With your support, you can help us bring you more content like this. When it was decided that the Diaclone F-15 Robo-Toys were to be part of the Decepticons, the blue one became Thundercracker, while the gray one infamously became Starscream. Adding a recolor specific for Transformers was the black and purple Skywarp. This helped the toy line on the Decepticon side, since the original 1984 Autobots were made up of over 18 cars and trucks. In the Marvel Comics, Megatron acknowledges that the Autobots outnumber the Decepticons, and since they were not at full strength, it would be wise to attack the Autobots at a time of their choosing. However, in the cartoon's three-part pilot, More Than Meets the Eye, the Decepticon army was fleshed out by numerous recolors of the jets both on Earth and on Cybertron. While only the 3 on the toy shelves were named at the time, some have not only received names, but backstories for them as well. More on that later. On the toy catalogs, the moniker Decepticon Planes was used to describe the jets and continued to be used throughout the toy line. However, in the JCPenney Wish Book of 1984, the term Seekers was used to describe the Decepticon jets. Many of the other toy catalogs at the time also used them as well. From there, fans have used the term for years before it was used by Simon Furman in Dreamwave's War Within comics, making the term as official as Combiners and the Subspace Storage Pocket. After the More Than Meets the Eye pilot, the unnamed Seekers simply disappeared. It's possible that they met their demise when the Decepticon Starcruiser crashed into the ocean, or perhaps 3 of them were kept alive and were rebuilt into the Seekers seen in Season 2.
The Autobots think they have defeated us, and yet we survive.
Throughout the rest of Season 1, any generic Decepticons still seen using the Seeker mold were only the ones on Cybertron, such as the ones commanded by Shockwave in the Ultimate Doom, and much more famously, the Rainmakers, seen in the episode Divide and Conquer. The 1985 lineup of Decepticons added 3 additional Seekers sold alongside Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. In new colors with remolded wings and weapons, Ramjet, Dirge, and Thrust began appearing in the cartoon and comics as loyal but dim-witted troops.
I crash, I take an Autobot with me. I've got morons on my team.
One notable change to differentiate them from the previous 3 has to do with a step in their transformation. When transforming the Seekers, the nose cone itself is folded this way, and it shows the familiar robot head. However, for the animation models for the second set of Seekers, the nose cones themselves were left up. And so, the animation models for them, while streamlined and made smaller, were given another fan-made term, the Coneheads.
France. We come from France.
Since the show had more Decepticons to use, the generic Seekers weren't seen for the rest of Season 2. However, in the movie and in Season 3, several generic Decepticons all sharing the classic Seeker and Conehead molds were used to flesh out the ranks. In addition, the Coneheads had regular roles during Season 3 as well. This would explain the Thundercracker and Skywarp colored generic Seekers seen at Starscream's coronation and the various Seekers seen being destroyed by Unicron. Speaking of Unicron, Skywarp, Thundercracker, and the Insecticons were rebuilt by the Chaosbringer into Cyclonus, Scourge, and the Sweeps. The details of that is for more than one discussion for another day. There were so many color schemes that people could have a field day customizing their toys and coming up with new Decepticon characters. In fact, after the G1 cartoon ended, official names were given to some of the generic Decepticons seen throughout the cartoon, and stories of them have also been used in other media. The infamous Rainmakers from Divide and Conquer saw one of their team members receive the name Acid Storm beginning with the 2007 Classics toy. The other two, Ion Storm and Nova Storm, were given their official names by Hasbro's official Q&A, Ask Vector Prime. The Decepticons who attacked Wheeljack and Bumblebee are Bitstream, Hotlink, Sunstorm, and the barely visible Nacelle. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sunstorm received a spotlight in the stories published by Dreamwave. Shockwave had successfully fit a solar-powered fusion reactor into a clone of Starscream. This overpowered Seeker battled Autobot and Decepticon alike. During the battle, Starscream fired his modified null rays on Sunstorm and dropped him into a vat of purple electrical liquid. He would emerge with his systems going critical, and Jetfire would push the supercharged Seeker out of Earth's orbit, where Sunstorm exploded, seemingly taking out Jetfire with him. The idea that some or all of the Seekers were clones of Starscream carried on into the comics published by IDW. Here, a method of reproduction known as cold construction had the newborn sparks of the Decepticons placed into bodies of the same structure. The Seekers were designed to be loyal to the Decepticon cause, creating an army of large numbers. After G1 ended, the Seekers were seen during the Beast era in stasis aboard the Ark, and the time-traveling Starscream Spark possessed Waspinator before being blasted back into space.
No, Waspinator has a headache in his whole body.
While there was the mass-produced Viacon drones and Beast machines, they had no sparks of their own, but that is a discussion for another day. However, in the Unicron trilogy, the first incarnation of a Seeker jet came from Starscream in Armada. While the cartoon chose to give him a new, upgraded color scheme,
It looked like Thundercracker.
the toy was sold as Thundercracker himself. The toy was remolded with a new head later in Armada's run as Skywarp, who was also recolored in the Universe line as Ramjet. The Decepticon tactician Thrust was also introduced in Armada with a new design that paid homage to his Generation 1 counterpart. Eventually, he betrayed Galvatron to serve Unicron. Unfortunately for the boasting Conehead, he fell into a joint on Unicron and was crushed by the Chaosbringer's movement. In Cybertron, Thundercracker made his return in a completely different body than Starscream. This version ditches the classic thunder noise for a cowboy accent.
Back with a vengeance, reloaded and ready to kick some Autobot butt.
His toy was later recolored as Skywarp. In Transformers Animated, Starscream himself was simply his own unique mutinous Decepticon.
You think you defeated the great Megatron? You did no such thing. I defeated Megatron.
Megatron had him discarded, but he returned to challenge his former leader. Without hesitation, Megatron killed Starscream and had Blitzwing and Lugnut discard his corpse. He awoke to find he was revived thanks to a fragment of the Allspark embedded in his head. He later found protoforms that were stolen by Lockdown and were able to be his clone army. Using fragments of the Allspark shared in his head, he gave life to each of them, who had different aspects of his own personality.
So, which part of me did you come from? Don't ask.
When most of the Allspark was reformed into the Allspark Matrix at the end of the show, Starscream met his end when his fragment was removed as well. Throughout the cartoon, the clones were simply known as the Starscreams. However, the Transformers animated guidebook, the Allspark Almanac, gave the clones names in accordance to their Generation 1 counterparts. It also gave the name Slipstream to the female Starscream clone. Appearances of Slipstream have been brief outside of Transformers Animated, but she now serves as one of the main antagonists in Transformers Cyberverse, commanding a group of Seekers of her own. Many of the Seekers in this series resemble their Generation 1 counterparts, with a few exceptions. As to how much, we'll have to wait and see. The aligned continuity did see Seekers, most notably Thundercracker and Skywarp, following Starscream's command when he joined Megatron. By the time of Transformers Prime, only the treacherous Starscream himself was still around.
I can't hear you! All hail Starscream!
The concept of cloning Starscream carried over from Transformers Animated as well. After going independent, Starscream found protoforms and cloning equipment aboard the crashed Decepticon starship, the Harbinger. He used them to create his own army of Starscream clones. He sent them to kill Megatron, but the Decepticon commander proved too powerful for the clones, which he made short work of. Also in Transformers Prime was the generic Decepticon car troopers known as the Viacons. Once Starscream rejoined Megatron, many Viacons were upgraded to have jet modes and were dubbed by Starscream as his Seeker Armada. In the live-action films, Starscream's design resembles a hulking Dorito with chicken legs and a beak-like face. While he did not seem traitorous like his other incarnations, his toy did receive remolds and recolors as other Seekers. The tie-in comics told tales of these Decepticons, but they never appeared in the films. That is until recently. While we were unsure if the new Bumblebee film is set in the live-action film universe at the time of this recording, the trailers have revealed many G1-styled Seekers on Cybertron with Shockwave. Also, in addition to the new Triple Changer Decepticons in pursuit of Bumblebee, appears to be Starscream going back to his G1 appearance.
Whoa, wait a second, Rodimus. I don't think you've heard the news. That's not Starscream, bro.
Hey, Last Prime Speculator. Pleasure seeing you here. You usually have some interesting theories when it comes down to the Transformers films. You sure this is not just another speculation?
No, Rodimus, no speculation this time. Travis Knight actually made this announcement at San Diego Comic-Con, which shocked the Transformers community. It's something I like to call the wow factor.
Hey Rodimus, Last Prime Speculator is right, you know. Yeah, I can't believe that this is still a thing, but hey, it's 2018. Apparently anything can happen.
Hey, Kevin and Cam. Looks like you guys are ganging up on me. You have any proof about this?
Oh, I have the footage right here because, yeah, I keep that on my computer to remind me that this exists.
It is not Starscream. I know. Specific, the flying, the jet that we see in the trailer, that is a character called Blitzwing.
It's crazy, right?
Here, Rodimus, I've got some Prozac just in case. Just calm down.
No freaking way. You mean that this Starscream looking thing is really this guy?
But in the Bumblebee prequel comics, you could totally see that Blitzwing is a triple changer. Now, it's still undetermined what he's going to be in the film.
Yeah, I still can't wrap my head around it.
Wrap my head around it? No. This is straight up wrong. It's...
Genius.
Michael Bay! Well, and it looks like I'm gonna have to talk about triple changers, but that is a discussion for another day. In the upcoming Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy Siege toy line, a new Starscream toy will be released with an alt mode of a Cybertronian Tetrajet like those seen in the original G1 cartoon. From promotional material, it also seems we will see other Seekers in the toy line as well. But what do you think? What do you think of the various Seekers that have appeared throughout the Transformers franchise? And what do you make of all this Starscream Blitzwing thing? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'd like to thank Comodin Cam and Last Prime Speculator for joining me on this video. Be sure to check out their channels as well. I'd also like to thank my patrons for your support. I have more Transformers discussion videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
It's not like you to hide behind an Autobot, Megatron.
But it's completely like you to hide behind an army of cheap knockoffs.